Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. And it's coming right up. You're going to hear a roar of the crowd, and believe me, you will never, ever forget it. Are you ready? Count it down. Ready? Okay, here we go now. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
All right, everybody, let's get on it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1.
Well, we're doing the intro, though. We don't stop the intro song.
So you start with an argument.
I just thought that YouTube polls. Do we not? Are we supposed
Oh!
I mean,
No, we're fine.
No,
we're
you're right,
fine.
Brandon. You're 100% right. I'm a dope. Yeah, no, we can't
Just
play
a
that.
Dope.
Yeah, they throw us right off, wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. If you'd rather save drama, I mean, it's just wanted to know.
No, they
Seemed
wouldn't.
weird.
Oh, yeah?
If you'd rather save the drama for your Mama's Zot's early bird lease pull-ahead program, it's just for you. For a limited time, you'll pay up to $4,000. They'll pay up to $4,000 of your current lease payments to get you out of your lease early with no penalty and into a brand new Ford. Get the details. See Zot's exquisite inventory at dealsneedy.com. This game's over, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Eli, brought to you by Dr. Yaldo. Eli, brought to you by
Okay,
Dr. Yaldo. Can't play music.
Remember that argument we just had?
Yeah. Go ahead, Eli.
I love the
No, Brandon's 100% right.
the pregnant pause.
We're waiting for music that can't be played because we're live on YouTube. Duh.
Well, this is a interesting Lions game, an important win. Makes them 2-1. I can't imagine what this town would have done had they
Super Bowl
1 and 2. It would have been apoplectic. But
Well, losing 2 in a row, they haven't done that in 2 years. Over 2 years.
Right.
So it's nice they stayed out of that territory.
Campbell 22-8 since that 4-19 start. But yeah, game starts with the Lions moving the ball, Cardinals moving the ball. The first 3 series, 20 points are scored, and only 13 the rest of the entire game. Second half was 20-10 Lions, and it stayed that way. It was just defensive domination. 3 failed fourth down plays in the second half, 2 for Arizona, 1 for the Lions, 2 interceptions, 7 punts, penalties right and left, but the Lions hold on. And in the final drive, when Arizona was still technically in the game, very nice. Goff, who was 18 for 23, by the way, hits St. Brown for a first down, and then scrambles for another one that put it away. So, you know, the offensive line was very impressive today. David Montgomery had 106 yards, 23 carries. Gibbs, 83 yards. So they ran the ball beautifully, as they had when they ran it down Tampa's throat to win. What was it, when they ran it down the Rams' throat to win the opener? That's right. And then they struggled offensively last week against Tampa.
Yeah, they were pretty balanced today.
Yeah, good game.
43 rushes and 23 passes.
Yeah, and
you know, at one point, Goff is 14 for 14, and then he has 2 bad passes, and Mark is just all over him.
It doesn't sound like me.
He was 14 to 14, and by the time he's 14 for 16, you were declaring.
I was
him
joking
the worst.
around. No, I was joking around, but that interception was unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And then he tried to throw it in the dirt that David Montgomery picked up. It was in the backfield. There were a lot of guys
That was
around.
a
It was a
crazy
little swing
play.
pass. He tries to throw it in the dirt. Montgomery catches it and scrambles for 10 yards. So Goff was 18 to 23.
Something about this team. It's kind of an ugly victory.
Yes,
A lot of penalties.
I feel like
a lot of
they're still just a trickle off in every respect. It seems like I don't know. I think they can play much better than this. But I said that last week. But they did win on the road.
You know,
I mean, that's what you got to do. You go to Arizona, you just have to come out with a win.
when you have a good football team, their fans expect them to not just win games.
You know it, yep.
Winning ugly isn't good enough, even though, of course, it is in the NFL. You expect your team to win handily, and when they got to fight for it like they did today, you say, well, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. They're an elite team, and they know how to win. They did it today. It was
Look at the size of
very
these guys.
impressive.
The clear highlight of this game was listening to Mark Schlereth.
Oh, he's so awful. God, he just never sounds so. But they did get that wild break in the first half with the 2-minute warning, And you think Goff is trying to get the pass off, trying to get the play off. It seems like he does.
He's trying to ground it into somebody's helmet.
No. The ball was tipped, and the guy Arizona returns it for a touchdown, and then they call it off and said that the 2-minute warning had been called.
You could hear the whistles. I just don't understand.
I was watching
their
the clock.
obsession with that.
I saw the clock hit 2 minutes. I'm like, he's not going to snap the ball. Why?
Well, he
snapped
shouldn't
the ball.
have, yeah.
He actually he snapped it fractionally before it went to 2:00, but I think the clock we're
The clock
seeing
said 2:00 when he snapped it.
it did.
Yeah, the clock said 2:00 when he snapped it, but I think he
Well,
might
that
have
is
been
supposed to-
moving already when it was 2:01, but the ball did not get into Goff's hands till it was at 2 minutes.
That was a nice break because instead of being down 14-13, they get the ball back, or they get to keep it 3rd and 12, and they run Gibbs on 3rd and 12. He gets the first down, and then after that, the wild hook and ladder play, 1-yard pass to St. Brown, laterals it to Gibbs, and so it's 20-10.
What a great
as
play.
opposed to being 14-13 down. Had they hiked it a fraction of a second earlier, and the 2-minute warning hadn't.
I just want to say this about the hook and ladder. Why doesn't that play get used more often? It's usually at the end of the game when somebody needs to go 70 yards and they'll do a hook and ladder. It's like, that was great for 30 yards, but why did you do it? Why are you doing it at the end of the game?
I'll tell you why. Remember, Brandon, when we were watching it, and then they showed that replay from behind, and it's like, that is a really hard thing to catch that ball that is just tossed like that Gibbs caught. That's not... You're throwing a ball up in the air. You don't want to let a ball flying around like that.
But have we seen a lot of failed hook and ladders where they fumble? I mean, doesn't seem like it's a pretty successful play.
It's a trick play, and it worked in that situation because at 3rd and 12 they were playing a little deeper so they could cut off the pass at some point, and it was a 1-yard pass to St. Brown. So by the time they got near him, he lateraled it, and so I think it was a situational call, and the yardage made a difference on it. And you got to give Ben Johnson credit. This offense is good. They can run the ball. The offensive line is outstanding. And they got good receivers, though J-Mo didn't do much today. Only caught one pass.
He had that great reverse that lost 7 yards.
Yeah, so he had 9 yards receiving and 7
I'm not
minus
bla-
7.
I'm not
Good, I
blaming-
don't have to bow down to J-Mo today.
I'm not blaming him for that reverse because that reverse was just a disaster from the start. But
You're
it's
right,
like,
though.
of
Every
course it's
J-Mo
J-Mo.
play is in your face.
I know.
How many times we do the show?
So today I should be going, yeah, in your face, J-Mo. What's the chat look like? I know people are asking about injuries, Laporta and...
Well, Laporta came back after he was carted off, and then
didn't
he
we
was
lose a
iced
DB?
up a lot. Well, Brian, that hit helmet-to-helmet Branch had on the tight end, I thought Branch was dead. I didn't think
Yeah, that
he was
looked
ever
really
getting
bad, really bad.
off the field. They showed him later. He's standing next to the tent. He looked dazed. I would assume a
great
concussion. Yeah, he's phenomenal.
He had
He's
9
such a-
tackles, and Kirby Joseph played a great game, interception.
And let's give it up for
without Anal Zone too. We didn't have Alex Anal Zone, and he's been
That's
a
a big
fantastic
deal.
linebacker.
and give it up for Terry and Arnold. Only one penalty today.
Hutch only had 1 sack today. What the fuck?
And it was actually, I think it was McNeil's sack as much as it was his sack.
No,
I think
it's
he
all
got-
Hutch all the
I
time.
think he got half a sack for that.
Have you noticed him? He runs at a high motor all year long.
It was Schlereth.
That motor never stops. In fact, it never gets turned off, I think is what the quote was.
Schlereth is so awful.
So
he's
bad.
saying he hopes the Lions don't. He says they show a shot of Campbell on the sideline saying he hopes they don't make it on 3rd and 2 so he can run that 4th down play. They don't make it on 3rd and 2. He runs the 4th down play and it gets stopped.
I've never seen Eli more
Shut-
pissed.
Schlereth bothers a lot of people.
He's not good. He's
I
annoying.
know, he really does.
Maz loves him.
By the way, what
Maz
about...
loves him? Calls him every week. I guarantee you
that's
he
why.
called him this week
Oh,
because
he's an easy interview.
That's
Because he
why.
knows him, that's why, yeah.
What about Eli? Who was doing color that bothered Eli so much? And he and his brother went and killed a head football coach.
Oh, Aqib Talib.
Talib, yeah.
Yeah, when's he coming back? He said he was taking a leave.
He should
I'm
get another
stepping
shot.
aside.
He should get another shot.
He didn't even
Just
get
his-
fired.
Just like his brother took.
You know, guys he should have never had the job because he doesn't speak English. Great. So check this out. You know, Phil Mushnick writes in the Post, and he's really down on college football players who aren't students. So he's quoting Patriots rookie wide receiver Javon Baker. Did you see this? Former full scholarship player at Alabama and Central Florida, ticketed for extra dark tinted windows and an obscure license plate. His Instagram recorded response to the cop. You towing it ain't going to do nothing to me. Come on, bro. You got other shit to worry about. You want to give me a goddamn ticket. What is you doing that, bro? So on and on it goes. And so here you got guys that go to college for...
what?
I tell you, what's odd...
Well, I'm amazed that they don't have some sort of studying to deal with the media more effectively than you see guys that speak so badly. And I don't ask for the King's English. I don't even care, really, but I would think if you were in college for 4 years, you would want to sound better.
Well, yes, and that they don't go to college to study. It's I had this argument with Paige yesterday because he frustrates me. We did the show together, and I
wish we could have heard that argument.
Bob Page, huh?
Yeah, he's disgusted at the state of college football that he's not even watching his beloved Spartans play. And so I say, Bob, this is very curious because when they exploited athletes for 120 years, didn't pay them fairly, you love the game. Now that the Supreme Court says you have an illegal business there and they're trying to do it professionally and pay the players, now you say it sucks. So when they finally have to come on the level and treat it like a real business. So
is the product that much worse? No. Viewership is through the roof.
Yeah.
It's the Wild West, though. I mean, it's really not terribly regulated.
It's not regulated because the NCAA doesn't want it to be regulated because then they would have to be employees.
Enjoy the ride.
They're trying to. The Supreme Court ruled against it in the Alston case. In fact, Brett Kavanaugh, a very conservative judge, they voted 9-0.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court, and he wrote, Kavanaugh, nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate? He goes, price fixing labor is price fixing labor. So the bottom line is they should have recognized this coming years earlier and come up with something.
And the hypocrisy of not wanting to pay them, but yet, hey, let's bring in UCLA and USC and Oregon and Washington into our conference because that means more money is laughable. I mean, that's the whole reason all the conference realignment happened was because TV wanted it to happen. And TV was throwing money at the universities.
Right.
And they wanted to keep it all. Now, I don't like conference realignment. It kind of ruins the whole regionality. But look at some of these matchups we got this past weekend.
Well, yeah.
No, it's cool. I just think a lot of schools that typically have a shot at something good are not going to ever have a shot.
Yes.
When is Minnesota going to be likely to go to the playoff?
When were they going to be?
Right. Remember the Big 2, Little 8? And the Big
they had
10 all those
a
years?
better shot before. So did Illinois. So did Iowa.
Illinois is undefeated, top 25.
You're dangerous, man.
And we'll see.
It does make it more unpredictable, and it does make it difficult for the top teams to remain. That's why Saban got out of the game.
Hey, did anyone besides me see the end of the Colorado game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God! Shedeur Sanders. They used Travis Hunter, the best player in the game.
He might be the best college player we've seen in a long time.
Will likely be the first pick in the draft. They ran him to the other side of the field. Shedeur rolls to his left, throws a 49-yard pass.
I couldn't believe he got that ball
dives in the end
off.
zone.
He was so close to not getting the ball off. And then what about the play before that? That dope dropped the ball. He was all along the 1 yard line.
Wide open.
Turn around and score, and it just bump off his shoulder pad or something.
That's why college football is so great.
Well, the ending, I have to say, for some reason, college football has insane endings. It always does. The Michigan game was insane.
Never in
Great
doubt.
game.
Never in doubt.
You got number 6 Tennessee. This is a good story. They got this quarterback, Nico Iamaleava.
$8 million quarterback.
$8 million quarterback. Now, what happened was the NCAA's first NIL rule was that you can't incentivize high school recruits. They didn't want you giving high school players money to come to your school.
Good luck with that.
They gave Iamaleava $8 to $10 million, and then they got an injunction against the NCAA saying you can't restrict a player's chances of making money, and it's.
They sued the NCAA and won, and I think the state of Tennessee. I think the Attorney General got involved, didn't he?
Yeah. And they got the federal injunction so that they could pay the high school players. And now they announced this week they're adding a 10% surcharge to football season tickets next year as a, quote, talent fee. It's a talent fee. It's a revenue pool for the players. And then this week...
Wait, what was the C license for?
That's
the right
not
to-
a real thing.
thing.
That's the right to buy tickets.
Right.
That's not a real thing, though.
Well, right.
Why don't they charge us that for concerts?
A talent
Can.
fee?
No, a license to have the seat for that night.
Well, because that's all you're going to one concert, whereas you're buying season
Oh,
tickets.
I see. So I need that license all year
That's
for my
right.
seat. I get it. Yeah,
Well,
of
here's
course,
the-
because you would need a license to sit in the seat.
But they're only raising ticket prices 14.5%. Only 4.5% for the actual ticket. The other 10% is a surcharge to pay the players. But this week, the Arkansas athletic director named Hunter Yurachek called NIL terrible and awful. He says the amount of money getting paid players are ridiculous. Then he says if we can get 10,000 households in Arkansas to give $100 a month or $1,200 a year, we can raise $12 million and would be in the NIL game from a football perspective.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's Arkansas saying that?
Yeah.
What do they do for Coach Cal and all those players that came in for their basketball team? Isn't that where Calipari is now?
Is he at Arkansas?
Yeah.
Oh, Coach Cal.
Yeah,
Great guy.
The problem is they threw a lot of money at him and basketball players, and doesn't have anything left for football. So
And Rick Pitino's at St. John's, isn't he?
is he at St. Yeah, I think he's at
He's
St.
somewhere.
John's now,
Great
yeah.
guy. So glad he's still part of the game.
Michigan, you went to the game. Yes, I know you had trouble seeing the game because you went with your daughter and she pulled you out of the stadium
It's okay.
early.
It was great.
But that was a
I
real.
always-
Pulled you out of the stadium for what?
She wanted to leave, so I left.
What did you tell her? That's your last game ever!
She went 2 weeks in a row with me. 6 years old. She loves it. Wears a little cheerleading
don't you
outfit.
take a
Got
friend?
on the scoreboard again 2 years in a row. She's on the big house scoreboard. I'm very proud of her.
Great
2
for you.
weeks in a row.
Great for her, not too good for you.
And speaking of realignment, you got Michigan, USC, sold out big house instead
it's a
of
great game.
UCLA playing, some other Pac-10 team with 40,000 empty
USC,
seats in the LA Coliseum. So,
No, it takes a lot to get me to go to a game, and this year I've been to 2 full games already.
yeah.
You know,
Amazing.
the secret to that Michigan winning that game was easily the stripe out.
Oh, yeah. I know. That was
Which Drew did not participate in.
No, I didn't. I was wearing a
Drew wore
black
black because
Nike
you hate
shirt
Michigan.
in a yellow section.
You hate Michigan. You won't wear any Michigan apparel.
I have Michigan apparel. I don't have a ton of it. I didn't go to Michigan.
He's not in the cult.
There's a lot of people that didn't go to Michigan that will wear the colors.
That's fine. I don't have anything against that. I went to the
You don't
game.
like
It was funny because I went to a game with my friend Jeff from high school who went to USC, and Pam who did not go to USC. But anyway, it was just interesting hearing the USC sort of view of things. He was really pissed that they did not run the ball with 4:18 left. They threw 2 incompletions,
Right, stop
which
the
gave
clock.
Michigan more clock.
Yep.
Right,
That
right.
was dumb.
That was stupid.
In fact, they wasted so much time that they could have burned that Michigan was huddling when they got the ball back. I was kind of surprised they were huddling, but that's all they needed. And he was pissed they didn't kick a field goal or try a field goal at the end of the half. And also,
Yeah, that's right.
Lincoln Riley is not, he was supposed to be God when he got there. They lost 5 games last year.
Yeah, with a Heisman Trophy quarterback.
Yeah, and I think they were expecting a lot, and so they were like the USC fans are all that happy with the way things are going.
Well, Michigan fans weren't.
a shame.
They got crushed by Texas. They sneaked by 2.
They did not sneak
They
by
sneaked by Arkansas State. And
They won
Fresno.
by 10.
They looked
They let
very
up 2 late touchdowns. Big deal.
Okay, well, Arkansas State lost 52-7 to somebody yesterday. So the fact that Michigan didn't clobber them,
Well, you should have
was
seen the Michigan
alarming.
fans pouring out of the stadium when Texas got the ball back with 4:30 or something like that. I had trouble getting back to my seat. And the guys in front of me, one of them was so distraught, he sat down and had his head in his hands. He was not watching the game. After
the USC, not Texas.
No,
USC.
no, this is the USC game.
Jeez.
And he was yelling at Michigan. I mean, yelling at the coaching and he was so angry he would not watch the game. Then he moved to a seat a couple rows away. Then he came back, and at the end of the game, even after Michigan scored one, he still had his head in his hands.
What?
His
Even
friends,
after they win the game?
Yes, his friends were consoling him the whole time as much as they could.
Wait, after they got the lead?
You gonna call a ambulance?
All the way. He never
I gotta tell
recovered.
ya.
He was so mad. And these two guys who were consoling him, they had it was the most intense embrace after Michigan scored.
Him. A grown man, probably a Michigan graduate.
Yeah. He was wearing Michigan stuff. I don't know if he went to school.
Emotionally caught up in the moment.
What's wrong with that?
But you should have seen
You're implying that there's something wrong with that.
You should have seen the embrace when Michigan scored. I mean, you would have thought these guys got rescued off the Titanic when it went down or something. It was so emotional.
Are y'all with the cult?
Well, yeah, in fact,
sorry you guys don't like your schools. I don't know.
I didn't need to be gay with my friend that I go to the game with because I'm so happy they won.
Be gay.
Or have a
maybe
have
they
such
were
a bad
maybe
headache.
they were just gay.
I can't watch the last quarter because I'm so angry.
Interesting game in that Michigan, they ran for 290 yards. And as Khalil Mullings, I thought that Dan Campbell had grit trademarked because Mullings said it was just grit and grinding meat.
Grit.
That's how we won the game.
That's right.
Only an Orgy, you realize that
they threw for 32 yards.
That's right.
And you realize that Orgy committed to the Hokies, right?
I didn't know that. Yeah. I did not know.
Orgy committed to the Hokies because Saban and the others who recruited him said that you can't play quarterback for us. He's an incredible athlete, could play 4 or 5 other positions. And then after he committed to the Hokies, Harbaugh said, "Hey, we'll let you try out a quarterback." He went to Michigan, and man, what an athlete! What were they thinking? So here you go.
Why doesn't he play wide receiver or running back or something? He's not a great passer.
It was interesting because Gary Danielson did the game, and he said his throwing motion is perfect. His throwing motion is outstanding.
All right, here's my hot take.
Why don't they throw more
on the Michigan quarterbacks?
He doesn't have experience doing it. He will.
They have practice, don't they? Do they not throw the ball in practice?
Yeah, but
has he been there a few years?
Here's my hot take. I don't think the receivers are very good either. I don't think the receivers are helping him out or helped out Warren at all. I just don't think they're. I mean, you've seen them stop on routes.
Yeah,
they've done that to both Orgy and Warren this year.
And Orgy threw some nice passes to a guy that was covered. They couldn't get in the open, but he got the ball to him. So
now that being said, I don't think he's that good of a passer, but you're not being helped out by anybody either.
Isn't it mystifying though that they took a walk-on Davis Warren and started him over this incredible athlete who proved it again yesterday? What the amount of versatility the offense has.
Did you see Davis? Is Davis Warren?
Yeah.
Wait, he's the guy that started the first game, two games?
Yeah, first 2 games.
Okay. When Michigan got to the 18-yard line, he was warming up on the sidelines. In case they needed to pass.
They're always throwing, yeah.
Well, they do that. Peyton Manning's backup was throwing yesterday. They got in trouble.
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. I'm sorry.
No, but you always see him throwing.
Very mediocre game.
I don't know. They were throwing on the field while Michigan was in the timeout at the 18-yard line. It looked like they were considering if they needed a pass, maybe.
Maybe so.
Or maybe they do it all the time. I'll watch.
I don't think I'll see the field ever again.
And I'm not so sure what Donovan Edwards' future is. He did have a 41-yard touchdown run, but he hesitates. He tries to be like Le'Veon Bell, who's his idol, and he does these little stutter steps. And by that time, the defense is there. And, unless he gets in the open, he gets stopped for 2 yards.
He doesn't break tackles.
No, he doesn't break tackles either. But
there was a play yesterday that reminded me of can you get the Dan Orlovsky safety out? Because I think that's
Vikings,
safety.
Yeah.
Can you get it, Mark? I think that safety may have been topped. It was the Lions in 2008 when he ran out of the end zone.
Right.
And there was a safety yesterday that may have topped that safety for lameness.
You want the Orlovsky one first?
Yeah, can we watch that one first? Because it's really the standard setter, isn't it? Isn't this the worst safety possibly ever?
Yeah, he has no awareness of where he is on the field.
Yeah, it's what he's best known for.
Pretty cool.
This guy, Roy Williams, Calvin Johnson, 2 of their biggest players.
He's a good analyst, though.
Oh, he's great.
Very good. He's 2 yards out of bounds.
The best part is the dejection when he realizes that I'm running out of bounds, and he just stays out of bounds.
He doesn't notice the white ground he's running on.
It's multiple steps out of.
Look at that. He doesn't know he's out of bounds.
No, he doesn't know.
He's a yard and a half out of bounds.
Okay, might as well just stay out of bounds.
Kyron Drones, the Virginia Tech quarterback, this is one incredible safety.
Does he throw the ball into the stands here? Is that what he does?
He gets his ankle stepped on,
And going down, wow, and fires the ball. That made it kind of exciting, actually.
It went 40 yards behind him into the stands.
Why did he want to do that?
What an army he has.
Achieving on that.
He did. He just fired it. I don't know. I figured if I'm going to take 2 points, I might as well get a good toss out of it, I guess. I think I have to go with Orlovsky now that I saw he was tripped. I didn't know what happened.
Yeah, Orlovsky's was unacceptable.
Pretty bad.
Okay.
He didn't even get a pass off.
Still the one.
At least Drones did.
So Michigan hosts Minnesota next week, so they could
big noon.
because if they lost that game, which they've obviously scored in the last play or 37 seconds to go after USC made some questionable, plays to give them the ball back and give them more time, Michigan at 1-2 would have been or 2-2 would have been a very discouraging thing. Like the Lions losing today, if they lost today. Instead, they host
So it's so
the
great.
Raiders. No, not the Raiders. They host Seattle on Monday Night Football. I said the Raiders because last year when they had them on Monday Night Football, that's when Jahmyr Gibbs did the forward leap and Katie 6
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
That led to an OnlyFans account, I think.
hugged him to her bosom in the end zone.
Throwback.
She pulled him up.
She pulled it up.
Hey, Mark, people are commenting on how pimped out you are. What are you wearing today?
Yeah, Mark, you
Shirt?
look great.
Wearing a gray shirt.
Looks good today. Just
I was good every day, man.
Pimped out. That seems like a bit of a strong statement. What else is going on in the chat? What are people talking
they're
about?
angry we're not talking about the Lions.
The Lions?
We
We
did talk
talked about the
about the
Lions. What do they want to talk about?
I like this one. Nothing like watching 2 Michigan haters.
We're the Michiganators.
Why am I a hater? What did I hate?
The whole team.
Oh, because the fans were
Last year you said
embracing.
they were just they just had an easy schedule and they were nothing.
I didn't say they just had an easy schedule.
When are they going to play somebody?
I have hated their schedule the last 4 years, I would say. Their schedule's been really boring for a season ticket holder, in my opinion.
And you're also
But they won all their
Not
games.
in my opinion.
And I also
Great.
found them boring to watch because they just run.
Okay, that's all. Let me ask you this. That's all they did yesterday. Was that game boring to watch?
No, it was a good game. It was a very close game.
But I mean, you take those 3 big runs out and they really averaged 3 yards a carry.
Well, there were some points scored. I mean, I'll tell you what's felt like a boring game. I didn't go to Michigan, okay, so I don't go, oh my God, my team's. I don't get that excited when something good happens, whether it's like a stop on 3rd and 6 or whatever. I didn't go to Michigan, so it doesn't affect me that way.
My thing is, and you may be right, I don't know, is the Michigan quote-unquote cult really that more so than other schools? Or is it just because you, coming from Virginia Tech, see this up close, you have tickets, and say this fandom is out of control?
I've never seen a fan base that's this intense. But
Oh my
I mean,
God!
you watch.
I think they're all pretty. The big ones like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan. I think they're all pretty much the same.
Well, I think there's a few that are separate from the rest, and I would say
Notre Dame.
Michigan and Auburn and Alabama are probably in that category.
See,
Notre Dame people are nuts.
You implying
That's That's fun, man.
that Michigan people are arrogant, as Daryl
I didn't
Rogers
say they
said.
were arrogant.
But they are.
I said
But they are.
Yeah, they are. No, it's just like seeing people get so. I mean, this guy could not watch the game. He was so upset.
I get it.
This is the mental illness. That's why they call them fanatics.
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoy it that much when it's good, it's probably overall good because Michigan usually almost always wins. So
The guy gets beaten up by his boss all week long. He looks forward to going to the Michigan game. He puts on his hat and his colors and paints his face, and he goes there and he's disappointed. He wants it to be perfect, and it rarely is.
Last year was the greatest year of my life, and I have 2 children.
wow, that's pretty weird. But probably a lot of
It was a
people.
great year.
No, I bet
One
there are
of
a
the
lot of
greatest.
people that feel that way. A
One
lot
of the
people-
greatest years.
When the Cubs won it, I knew a ton of people who were.
Yeah,
I mean, it was like the greatest thing in their lifetime. I didn't feel that way. I was happy. It was honestly, it was weird to me when the Cubs won. It was like, oh my God,
Now what?
I don't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Exactly.
Well, anytime a team wins, whether it's the Patriots winning 7 Super Bowls or the Cubs winning the World Series, if they start off badly the next year, the fans are just as pissed off as it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's what have you done for me lately?
Although I got to say, I mean, Michigan could lose 4 games. They'll be fine this year.
Now, speaking
Still
of,
working on that glow.
don't we have to at least mention the Spartans who lost a tough one at Boston College in
Yeah,
the rain?
I did not see that game.
They
but
could have been-
they were
that
ahead.
ending. Oh, that
they
end.
blew it.
They could have been 4-0. They were ahead. And just a touchdown, 42-yard touchdown pass late in the game. And now they got 4 tough ones in a row. Now
How bad were they beat on the touchdown? Can we see the touchdown pass?
They were
Yeah.
beaten,
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, it was.
I know their quarterback threw a couple of picks. I mean, threw in at the end of the game, I know, but he had 2 picks before that, too. Were they bad picks?
I
And
didn't
where's
see those
Marsh?
picks.
Marsh didn't even
Marsh
play,
is
did
hurt.
he?
Marsh has got some type of injury. They were without 3 of their top 3 receivers. or 3 top receivers, Marsh being obviously the best, the freshman. What was the guy's name? Thomas Castellanos hit Lewis Bond.
Here you go. I don't know if it's...
Kirk Robert Gibson wants to know, Mark, what line would Michigan have to cross to make it unenjoyable?
What line would
None.
Kirk Roberts up there.
Here you go.
Otto's first down, looking to throw, gonna take a shot downfield. Bond is there, it's caught at the 10.
I mean, the corner fell twice.
Boston College leads.
Yeah, it makes it pretty tough.
And it was raining that whole game.
Yeah, that was an ugly setting.
God, it seems like it rains a lot at that stadium. I don't know why.
It would have been a big win for them. But
I've seen the Hokies play in the rain there like 4 times at Chestnut Hill.
you saw them.
The Hokies, it seems like it rains like, I don't know why, but I'm sure it just seems that way.
Spartans got a good kicker, Jonathan Kim, 4 field goals. So, should we get on to the Tigers here? Because
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
really, that's just an incredible story. They won again today, 4-3. Carpenter 2 home runs. Torkelson a home run.
Bombs.
But this pitching staff, they've changed the way the game is played with these openers, with Tyler Holton opening the game. Guys like Gunther and Hannafy and Madden. Although Madden gave up all 3 runs. Who are they? We did an event. I did an event with Lance Parrish the other night on the '84 Tigers. He wrote a book on them, and I wrote So when the '84 season, before it started, they made the big trade for Willie Hernandez, and they traded Glenn Wilson, who was a favorite of the players. He was the #1 draft pick, and so I interviewed Tom Brookins for the book, and he said on that trade, he goes, I thought, how can they trade them 2 guys and get these 2 guys? I learned a lesson there. You never know nothing, so you're better off just keeping your mouth shut. And that's what it's been with the Tigers.
It's no fun to keep your mouth shut.
But we know nothing.
But fans are allowed to have feelings and be wrong. Fans are allowed to be wrong.
Listen, this is the #1 mistake fans and media make. You take short-term results and make long-term prognostications that are often wrong. They were 55 and 63. They had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs. Now it is a 62% chance, winning 27 of their last 36 games. They make a trade they trade Flaherty. We think it's a terrible trade. They get 2 guys we never heard of, 2 guys that weren't even one was in the 20th in the Sweeney was 20th in the Dodgers farm system, and now he looks like the shortstop of the future. He fields well. He's hitting, I think his OPS is about average in the league. And the kid in the minor leagues, the catcher, is supposed to be terrific. Lorenzo is his name. And they craft this pitching staff and take these guys that we've never heard of that are off. Tyler Holton off waivers. This guy, Sean Gunther, pitched today. Didn't give up 2/3 of an inning. Didn't give up. He was a Marlins waiver pick. Is a quote from The Athletic on this because everybody's amazed. It says Gunther has a 1.17 ERA from the operating table, because he had a Tommy John surgery, to the waiver wire, to a leverage situation in the heat of a playoff game. His story serves as a microcosm of a Tigers run that's growing more inspiring and more unbelievable by the day. I quoted it because that's very well written, and it is what has happened. As Tommy Brookins said, you don't know nothing. And now, today, did Boston win the second game against Minnesota?
They're up big right now in the top of the 8th.
So tied with the Royals, too. The Royals lost today.
The Royals have lost 7 in a row.
And Minnesota,
it's incredible.
Minnesota. Listen, if the Tigers so Minnesota's probably 9-27, while the Tigers won 27-9. They've passed them. So Kansas City and the Tigers are 82-74. Minnesota is now a game behind, and so the Tigers and Royals are in. The Tigers have their own. They control their destiny.
They do. Yeah. I mean, just remember too, the Royals and the Twins do own the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. That's big.
It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, so we're ahead now. I mean, now we have to blow it.
As long as Minnesota loses right now, but yeah, you're right.
The thing about Sweeney, and I agree, it was very disappointing to lose a #2 starter who's pitching so well and still is pitching so well because, first of all, if you ever do make the playoffs, to have a 1-2 punch like that is absolutely, that's devastating for other teams to have Skubal and a guy pitching as well as he is. But when you have a shortstop who is producing nothing absolutely nothing. Baez was, you could not count on him for a
highest
hit
paid
ever.
player. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you put a guy in, he's got 4 homers and 25 RBIs, and I mean, he's been driving in some big runs.
Talking about Sweeney?
He's producing. Yeah, he's been productive.
And how about the catch he made? You got that, Brandon, last night? Amazing catch.
From Saturday. That was great.
2-0, swing and a soft little pop.
No, his defense is flawless.
Caught by Sweeney. What a play. Wow.
He made another great play today.
Yeah, and then
Got a guy
today,
at third base who was trying to get an extra base after a ball got into left field, and he had to run out there and chase it and made a perfect throw to
and then
third.
today it's 3-3. They come back from 3-0 down. The Orioles do tie it up at 3. End of the 5th inning. Looks like a ball's going out to put them ahead 4-3. And Parker Meadows, who's an incredible athlete, does this.
See if Gunther can keep it down. Fly ball, right field side.
I don't know what Carps is doing on this ball, by the way.
Warning track. And Parker Meadows got over.
Carps is trying to catch a different ball.
Listen, Carps is a great hitter against righties. He doesn't bat against lefties, and he doesn't field very well. But he's a great DH.
He has a good arm and he runs well.
Yeah.
He's working on his outfielding. Don't get too down on Carps.
You're in the Carps cult.
And he's
I am in the Carps cult. I admit it. I love Carps. I think he's a great power hitter. I just don't understand why can he never bat against the lefty, and yet you've got Colt Keith, Jace Jung, McKinstry. You got other guys who are lesser hitters, and they'll be left in to hit against lefties. I know Carps is, for his career, he's hitting .202 against lefties. He only has 100 at bats, and he has 4 home runs and 19 RBIs. So that's a productive 200. And plus, I'm not as upset about him being pinch hit for as the next at bat when they need him in the 9th inning or the 11th inning or whatever. They have a lot of extra inning games, and Carps is done. In the last 6 games, Carpenter's batted 12 times. And 3 of the at-bats he's missed is because of lefties, but the other at-bats were against righties after them. So I just, and I don't like to question A.J. Hinch because I think he's done a great job. And I've talked to Gibby about this, not KRG, but Kirk Gibson, his father.
Oh, Maz's friend?
Yes, one of Maz's friends, one of Maz's many friends. One of his distant friends, one of his opportunistic friends. But anyway, Gibby keeps saying that, look, Hinch he's leveraging everybody into a better position, and Carpenter look at what he's doing. And I understand that, but I think this is a guy you want in the lineup all the time. He's slugging 600.
Hard to argue against you, but
38 extra base hits in 245
Hinch
at-bats.
is very much into analytics. And that's why
they pinch it for Colt Keith.
Well, look what they're done with this pitching. What they've done with the pitching staff is ingenious. They got one regular starting pitcher. Skubal's only about 2 or 3 years in the majors. It is the only other starter they have is a rookie, Montero, who's mediocre. I guess Casey Mize, but Casey Mize has been.
Well, Reese Olson's back. He pitched 3 innings the other day. It's weird throwing these starters who haven't pitched in months, and all of a sudden they're in these huge games, and they've done okay. But I guess you can't go with relievers forever.
They've brought up these guys we never heard of that were, like I said earlier, waived, cut. 9th and 15th round draft picks, Hannafy, Gunther, all these names, and they're producing. They got the best ERA in the major leagues. They're changing. They didn't start it, but they're changing the whole way baseball has been for 120 years, which is your starter tries to go the 9 innings. Now the starter tries to go 6 innings, and now they don't even use a starter.
Yeah.
Well, they're also, if you look at the game the night before, a lot of times the Tigers pitcher is TBD.
Yeah.
So you don't know if a lefty's coming or a righty's coming. It could be, who's our lefty that's pitching so well? Holton?
Holton, yeah.
It could be Holton or it could be Brisky. And Brisky, by the way.
Look at Brisky, what he
when
did
he
yesterday.
bears down, Jesus, he is really tough. And Will Vest, too.
Yeah.
And our closer, Foley, has pitched phenomenal. Those 3 guys are vicious.
Foley gave up the 2 runs in the 9th to tie it Saturday night at 4. Brisky gets 6 outs in the 9th and in the 10th. And they win the game. Sweeney makes the acrobatic catch. It's just one thing after another. Very, very impressive. They're pulling games out. They got confidence. And this is a team that traded their veterans at the deadline. They gave up.
Yeah, I got to tell you, they really could use a right-handed hitter right now. Even Mark Canha would be nice.
Yep.
Nice. And Torkelson hit his 9th homer today, but I mean, 9 homers in 86 games. He's hitting. I don't know what's up with Torkelson. Maybe he's just not that guy.
Listen, and Parker Meadows, who's played magnificently, got sent down at the beginning of the year. He was like 1 for 62. It was
He was 7 for 77, which is brutal. And I don't know how he got up to 235. He's hit over 300 since he's been back. But is Torkelson going to have a streak where he carries a team for a week or something? I mean,
the number 1 draft.
He's a first baseman. He's the number 1 pick. He had 31 homers last year. What's going on with him? It just seems like, my opinion on Torkelson is that, you know those pitches. Well, for example, Carpenter hits a lot of mistakes out. I see a lot of balls right down the middle, and Torkelson just fouls it off.
Yeah. Well,
he just doesn't seem to take advantage of a lot of
so here you have a team
pitches.
Playing as good as anybody in the major leagues. They got Torkelson, who's been in the minor leagues, a disappointment. They got Colt Keith, who's a rookie. They got Sweeney, who we never heard of, who was a career minor leaguer until he came up. They got Young, who was a minor leaguer. They got behind the plate. They got Jake Rogers, decent, but
who batted for Carpenter yesterday or Saturday, hitting 195.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
And Rogers, and then he gets a hit.
Yeah, it worked out.
Speaking of DHs like Kerry Carpenter, obviously we've seen what Shohei Ohtani does. It's stunning that he'll be the first DH, I think, to win the MVP, the first 50-50 player.
You see his Friday line?
Oh, my
God.
6 for 6, 10 RBIs, 3 home runs. What do you have, 2 or 3 stolen bases?
Yeah.
And he is just the 3rd player to rank at least 2nd in the majors at home runs and stolen bases in the same season, joining Honus Wagner and Ty Cobb, the only ones who have done that.
And they probably hit 9 home runs when they did it.
That was 115 years ago.
Wow.
And he can pitch.
Yeah.
Wait, Willie Mays never led the league in home runs and stolen bases. I'm kind of surprised because he had some stolen bases years that he led the league.
If there wasn't a language barrier, Shohei Ohtani would be the biggest star in the world, but unfortunately there is. It should be, leading a lot of sports headlines, but it's just not. He's the first 50-50 player ever, but you don't see him everywhere like you should. You should see him on GMA. You should see him on talk shows.
Talking, he can't. Yeah, talking through an interpreter is just not the same thing.
He's doing what no one's ever done. He's the greatest baseball player.
I hate to be this guy.
Probably ever.
I love this stat, the first 50-50 guy ever, but are you surprised they steal Ohtani that much? A guy who's got 50 home runs? I would think, because I guess, he can screw up a finger stealing bases.
Not only that, but when you can steal at 93%, which he has, and make 28 in a row.
How do you not?
And he's big, and he's an all-star caliber pitcher too. Yeah, I agree with Brendan. He's
the best player
in history. He's
Riley
the most talented player in
Green.
history.
Riley Green could steal 40 bases if he wanted to. I just don't think they want to get Riley Green hurt. Maybe Ohtani, I guess he doesn't really have a history of getting hurt other than his pitching arm. He's been pretty healthy.
Another home run and 2 stolen bags today.
Seriously?
That's amazing.
God, it's like automatic. If it's on base, it's a double.
This is how old
Eli's looking at the chat. Just telling the chatters.
What's on the chatters?
No, I just want to let him know in case you want to freak Eli out.
Ty Cobb, Eli's classmate. That's pretty good. I'm gonna prove to you how old I am. Okay, the first Japanese player in the major leagues was 1964. I was 14. Masanori Murakami came over to do some exchange program. He pitched in the minor leagues for the Giants. They brought him up. He pitched very well at the end of '64. He was supposed to go back to Japan, and the Giants refused to send him back. They had this big argument about it. And
did they put him in an internment camp?
No, but they made an agreement to let him pitch 1 more year if they would promise to return him after that. And the Giants did. And then for the next 30 years, they agreed with the Japanese league not to rate any of their players. So it was 30 more years before the next Japanese guy came, who I believe, was it Hideki Nomo?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Shut your hole, Wang Chung.
I had no idea that they agreed not to get anybody for 30 years.
Yeah.
What's the Seattle guy with 3,000 hits?
Ichiro. That was later. That was after 1995. I think he came in the early 2000s.
Yeah, right around there.
They signed an agreement with the Japanese professional leagues that they would honor each other's players' contracts. So now what they do is they got to pay the team in Japan a lot of money to release them. Tens of millions of dollars.
Hey, Brandon, I think you and I were talking about this. How many hits did? What's his name? The 3,000 hit guy. Ichiro. How many hits did Ichiro have in Japan before he came over here?
Oh man, he would have been like the
he was
first
like
4,000 hitter. Right?
Yeah, I think when you put him together, he had more than Rose, right?
How do you come to the major leagues at 27 years old and get 3,000 hits? That's insane.
He didn't get 3,000 here, did he?
Yeah.
Did he really get 3,000 in the major leagues?
Yep.
You sure about that?
Let me look it up.
Starting at age 27? I don't think so.
I think you're going to be sorry. I think we're going to have an incorrect correction. And I think you're drawing attention to it.
career hits.
And then he had...
does it count
in the majors?
All total, he had
Major League Baseball.
All total, he had 4,367 hits.
Remarkable.
Yeah. Wow.
He's a good baseball player.
28 seasons.
Well, the last thing I got is those drug dealers called DraftKings and FanDuel. They're no better than drug dealers. They give you all these incentives.
First one's free. Yep.
First one's free. Sniff a little of this and see, and then come back for more type of thing. So MLB is suing DraftKings and FanDuel and Underdog and Bet365 for wrongfully using Major League Baseball players' images and likenesses for offering prop bets about certain players. So they've been sued.
Oh, the Tigers only do it every night. They put Carpenter up there. Who's the FanDuel pick of the night?
Yeah, let's pick the stick.
Yeah, pick the stick.
Illegal.
Absolutely, every fucking night.
Did you hear this though?
And I always pay attention to it too.
The Connecticut Consumer Protection's gaming division fined DraftKings because more than 500 customers in Connecticut played this online, what is it called? Online slot machines, 21,000 spins, not a nickel. Not a nickel. And they claimed it was a glitch.
And no one noticed after 21,000 spins?
Yeah, well, I guess
Right.
I have to ask this question. The Nationals sent their all-star shortstop to the minors after going 0 for 3 on Friday against the Cubs because he was at a casino at 9 o'clock in the morning before the game.
Yeah.
What about all the guys that go out drinking all night?
Yeah.
Problem.
Or partying all night? Why are they sending him to the minors?
Right.
The problem is that picture appeared to kind of go viral during the game when he was performing like shit. And so
0 for 3.
So what?
I understand, but
What if there's a picture like Drew said of someone at the bar?
But here's the thing: the guy wasn't just up
nobody
until
cares about
4 a.m.
Deshaun
partying.
Watson,
He was up until 8 a.m. on a day game. He didn't even sleep for the day game.
Mickey Mantle used to hit home runs hung over. He said there were 3 balls came to the plate. He had to try to hit the one in the middle.
So if Ray Lewis had murdered somebody at 9 in the morning on a Sunday
It'd be
morning,
worse.
that would have been a bigger deal.
If he stayed up all night, yeah.
All right, 80% of Americans eventually.
Wait, no WNBA playoff talk? What are you talking about?
I was going to fly into my commercial.
Wait, before you go into your commercial.
I just have to say, I laughed when I got a notice from ESPN on my phone that said, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever in WNBA playoff as I'm watching the Tigers and the Royals and preparing for the Lions. Like, nobody cares about this league right now. Get out of here.
And we forgot to mention that Aja Wilson was voted the
No, we didn't forget. We just didn't want to.
Brandon, can you play the cut of Jerry Jones talking to Jamie Foxx?
Oh, God.
Absolutely. It's not him talking per se. It's Jamie Foxx who's filming at Dallas Cowboys practice, and it just so happens that Jerry Jones is in the background.
Does Jerry Jones know? Oh, he doesn't know he's filming?
He has no idea.
Because he looks like he's talking to Jamie a little bit.
He is.
So at first you can't hear much. They're just watching practice, but then you'll hear Jerry Jones break down the player who just made this whatever play.
Stay up.
Play it's over.
Hey, pretty good right there. He showed balance.
So he's eavesdropping.
5, 9, 2, 10. 4, 1. Okay. 9 and 3-inch height. 8.5-inch dick.
Oh, and then it just stops abruptly. I wonder why. Because he said
3-inch height.
How does he know the exact size? What if he said 8 3/4 inches?
I think he was joking. I think
so,
but
too.
8.5-inch dick.
I looked at this and I'm like, oh God.
Who cares about that?
First of all,
It'd be great if he's like, but his dick's only 3 inches. Just
Wait.
go the other way with it.
So Jamie Foxx is so angry about this that he posted it?
Well, I
Is
think
that
he
why
was
he posted
live.
it?
I think he was live.
think he was
Oh, it was live. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I'm like, Oh, God. I bet this is going to be a big deal. And he shouldn't have said that. That was stupid. But he didn't know he was being recorded,
It's two
right?
guys talking. That's locker room talk.
That's kind of what I thought. It was dumb to say. So anyway, I start reading the comments. This is plantation talk. How can Jamie Foxx be so calm?
Oh,
people were mad at
he had a
Jamie
stroke.
Foxx
Come on.
for not calling it out. Like, and then there's no excuse as to why he knows how big the player's penis is.
Really? Who's saying this? How
Commenters.
It's ridiculous.
Why would Jamie Foxx be with this historically racist man? All these N-words be freaky.
Oh, I get the answer to that because he wanted to watch the Dallas Cowboys practice.
Yeah.
But they want to expose the black men only. Lock him up. Lock him up for saying an 8.5-inch penis? Jesus. What in the slave auction did I just hear? Lock him up with Diddy. More plantation talk. This, wait, let's see. This is the part the players have been trying to tell us about for years.
What?
They just signed Dak Prescott to a $60 million. That is not slave work.
That was locker room
He's
talk.
paid a lot of money.
Didn't Jerry Jones bring in Greg Hardy after a magistrate found him guilty
True.
of?
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Come on.
These people
But I guess he
never-
just needed another slave.
These people never ended slavery, simply found new ways to profit off melanin labor.
If he gets locked up, he should be freed for this comment.
For me, it's a reminder. I, too, have been here 23 years. And it is a reminder. I've been here when it was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't.
Glory
and so,
hole
having
days?
said that, I want me some glory hole.
Wait a minute.
It's one of the greatest.
Does he not know what
Did he
glory
think it
hole
was something
means?
else?
He has no idea what a glory hole
He
is.
doesn't know. No.
I think he does.
I kind of
They had him installed in Jerry World. Glory hole. In the bathroom.
I would think someone would have made a glory hole joke in the course of his life.
There it was. Glory hole.
That's the second time he brought up glory holes.
That's pretty weird.
Jerry Jones is always talking about glory holes.
It's like the famous Carmen Harlan thing where she mentioned something about a Woody.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
And
She didn't know what it was, right?
what it was.
That was someone on TV.
Did you get a Woody?
It might have been locally said that she took 2 fists, or she was 2-fisted, and she meant 2-fisted with 2 drinks.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, she's taking 2 fists," and the anchor person said she meant to hold the drinks. So the anchor person apparently
Oh, he knew.
Oh,
maybe
come
knows
on.
about fisting.
He's seen those videos.
But 2
No, it was a
fists?
she.
Oh, she's seen those. She's done it. Wait, was this local?
How much
Might
was
have
to
been
read a
local,
spot?
yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's ever happened, but it was funny. She kind of had to point it out, which is like, how ridiculous.
Really?
I want me some glory hole.
Anyway, 80%. How can I read the spot now? It's impossible. I got to get serious. People got to stop laughing.
You gotta have good eyesight if you're looking for those things.
Well, 80% of Americans eventually get cataract surgery, and 99.5% report 0 post-op issues of any kind. So when we tell you about Dr. Yaldo's Clearview lens that gives you 20 or better at vision at all distances, it means no more readers, bifocals, or contacts for life. That's almost hard to fathom, but it's true. The standard implanted cataract lens, millions of people get it every year, but it only corrects far vision. Patients still need glasses for reading or looking at their phone, but the Clearview is the ultimate multifocal lens. That's why so many pre-cataract age people in their 40s or so love it so much. This is the last week of Dr. Yaldo's 20% off sale on the Clearview. If you even thought about finally doing something about your near vision, now's the time to do it. Let him explain it all. Sign up at YaldoEyeCenter.com for a free evaluation and see and learn how the Clearview implantable lens can change your life.
Hey, get out of here.
All right.
Get out of here.
Time for Tubby bye-bye. Time for